Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Greetings, welcome back, and Happy New Year, everybody. This is Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. It's episode 199, to be exact. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and joining me, the man who made the leap through space and time, Kyle Fergusson.
Ooh, what'd I do now?
I don't know, it's a new year. I've been making time travel jokes all week.
What a letdown. I thought I impressed you.
I'm impressed you're still alive, Kyle. Let's just, there you go. I'll give you
what?
that.
Okay.
I don't know. Because the only way because time is linear and I'm making a joke about something that happens every year, the only reason you wouldn't really make it is if you ceased to be.
It was an odd year, right? Like, this was our third winter Christmas meta of heroes. The very first was, I think, the Kael'thas madness. Mm-hmm. Last year was the Rhaegar Thrall stuff, along with the new Ragnaros variant and everything that came with that.
Oh, you're right. You are right. Yeah, I was on the dual wielding twin blades variant train, and then we all just decided, oh yeah, you just take taunt, and everybody kills what you taunt. Why are you trying so hard? Yeah, Rhaegar was I don't know. It was the second or third, possibly fifth or sixth coming of Rhaegar. I don't know. Dude's nerfed, everyone leaves, and then they realize he's still good, and they come back to him. I don't remember exactly which particular Rhaegar nerf we were at the end of 2016. But yeah, I believe you're about correct. But 2017, as we kind of talked about on the last episode, I think it was a pretty damn good year for heroes, except for like the final note. Like It didn't stick the landing as far as you would want to stick a landing for an arbitrary ending that has to do just because a calendar works in a specific way.
Right. That we are going to collectively take time off, play a lot of video games during that time, and we'd like the game to be in its most stable state.
Yeah.
And we're also looking at things like voice chat and the performance-based MMR just being cut entirely, which deflates that message a little bit. And then, of course, the seeding bug that happened. But the new year came and went, Garrett, and I thought last year, people had a rough time. They were posting pictures about 2017 being on fire on their way into that, and then they started doing it again this year, and I say, no, you don't get 2 bad years in a row. That's not how time works. This is now a good year if last year was bad.
I think some people could argue that 16 was a bad year and 17 was a worse year. And I mean, if you're just going to come into 18 declaring it the worst year ever, then Into the Nexus, if nothing else, Kyle, is a weekly exercise in looking on the bright side of life.
Or taking advantage of it.
That's correct. Yeah. Or there's two different, we sell two different forms of looking on the bright side of life, Kyle. One is just do it. Just look on the bright side. Try and stay positive. Don't die. Jeff isn't here. I'll do it for him. The other is taking advantage of everyone else in the world who isn't looking on the bright side of life. Taking advantage of everyone else's dark side, using their weaknesses against them, driving your enemies before you.
The whole Merc kind of snowball talk that's going around sure is a little lame, right? I mean, who doesn't love their pretty bases and getting to enjoy that late game gazebo kind of thing? But looking at it from a just win kind of stance, it all seems like a ridiculous conversation to be having because it's easy to win right now if you stack mercenaries.
Kyle, I'm not playing a ton of Hero League. Not a ton, but I'm still undefeated on Sonya.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. I was going to ask you.
Yeah. Still undefeated. I haven't changed anything from last season. I'm definitely not logging a ton of Hero League games, but As a matter of fact, I took quite the. We didn't take a break for Into the Nexus. We were here last Thursday, like we always are. But over the holiday break, man, I played everything but Blizzard games, and it was a lot of fun. So my Heroes time did suffer a bit, but I did squeeze in a few Hero League games over the break. Still have not lost a game on Sonya. Seems to just be going well. I have stopped taking Leap though.
Oh, interesting. That wasn't the twist I expected there at that moment.
Yeah. No.
So why what died on Leap?
Just I can depend on my teammates a little more. I don't need to be the only. I don't need to be like the only mortal instrument on the field. So it seems like going Wrath of the Berserker. Just giving myself a little bit more oomph. Being able to kind of fulfill an off-tank role when I need it. It's just more of a Swiss Army knife. I like it.
And you do everything in the game faster, which means as those build up, you may be 1 minute sooner to an objective than you would have been because of Merc Camp 2 lanes and the time it took you to get there with Wrath active.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fascinating idea. That's cool. So do you feel like golds provide you with enough CC, or is it merely that your sweet jump doesn't go followed through and what you might as well do something that lasts?
It struck me that Leap was just a little bit too much committal, whereas if I move in at non-Leap Sonya speed, my team is 100% behind it and they just continue the dive with me. But if I Leap, it kind of freaks them out, leaves the back line open.
It's true. It's sad what lower leagues are, or mid-tier, but leagues in general are afraid of. Like this week's coaching episode with Jeff Kanata that we did. He's been trying to add a little bit of Uther into the mix. A bit inspired by my climb and what I did last season.
That's what happens when you talk to Kyle Fergusson about Heroes of the Storm for too long, and you're trying your best to be a student sponge and just soak up everything you possibly can. At some point, you just go, forget it. I'm just going to play the hero he plays because I'm sick of hearing his metaphors where he tries to twist how he plays, in this case, Uther, into whatever hero I'm currently playing. I'm just going to play Uther and make his idioms 1-to-1.
And he did, and he gave it a shot, and he's done decently well at it. But the sad part is that sweet 20% movement speed that sits on the Divine Shield is actually causing his people to become scared and disengage with greater speed, thereby disconnecting whatever the sweet mouth, the Ultimated Soul, or Kerrigan Maelstrom was in Silver League. So it's an interesting environment. There's a great quote by Mark Twain that says, "The greatest swordsman in the world need not fear the second greatest swordsman in the world. He has to fear the randomness," misquoting here a little bit, "of the world. A guy with a pitchfork, if you go with Witcher kind of analogies. The second swordsman in the world is going to play by the rules. He's going to attack in artistic ways that people have found to be the most meta viable for a swordsman. But if you put me up against Nazebo in bronze, what's he going to do? He's dangerous to me. He's horrifying. I don't know when the zombie wall is going to come, if it's even going to try to trap me, if it'll be cast to the left where I just dashed for what I thought was a good engage."
So I've been doing my best to quietly source this quote in the background, and if this is correct, it's so much better than I thought it was. It's the best swordsman in the world doesn't need to fear the second best swordsman in the world. No, the person for him to be afraid of is some ignorant antagonist who has never had a sword in his hand before.
It's true.
If that's correct, as at the speed of Google, because the internet can always be trusted.
Sure.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. Look at you pulling somewhat complete quotes from literary geniuses.
What I needed from it, adapting it for my own.
Yeah. Oh, so you made something pop into my head there, by the way. My Leap Sonya leading the charge versus just non-Leap Sonya leading the charge. I was hanging out this weekend with Katie. We still have the Christmas tree up. Don't judge me. Sipping on some hot chocolate, flipping through channels like some 20th century scrub who doesn't have Netflix, and the end of Return of the King is on. I haven't watched that in forever, but so imagine, Kyle, The way I am now playing Sonya is more like Aragorn, just before he turns to charge the Orc and Uruk-hai horde outside the Black Gate. Whereas, could you imagine that same scene if he turned to run and then just leapt 10 yards ahead?
There's not even time for the army to catch up.
Exactly.
I mean, that's true. As far as telegraphs go, Aragorn does a great job letting everybody know which directions he's heading, if he's going to retreat, which he's not going to, and what sort of aid he'd like in it.
Yep. I love Leap, by the way. I can't wait for my next game where I think to myself, I think it's Leap time, and I get to go that route. But for right now, I've really kind of enjoyed just moving at slightly faster Arthas speed.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm really excited for you because, winning feels good. You got placed a little lower than you hoped, and you are enjoying the environment. And probably that'll encourage you to play and enjoy the game. And as you climb, you'll get better and then arrive where you previously were, all skilled up, ready to go with everything you learned on that walk.
Yeah, my last 2 games are super funky too. By the way, we have one where our first pick just hovered over Tracer and just like AFK picked, and like 5 seconds later, we get a, oops, sorry, I was eating. And I'm just sitting here like, what? No, lie to me. Just tell me, like,
right. Strategy number 1 there is don't say that.
Yeah, just lie to me. That's fine. It's fine. And I still, Kyle, was just channeling you, and I'm just like, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We can make this work. And I typed at the end. I'm like, all right, Tracer's a little funky, but let's do this, boys. And we did it. And then today we had just an AFK banner, where you just start the draft off with the shattering glass, and that doesn't raise any morale.
No.
None whatsoever. And then we ended up with 2 healers, which I haven't had all season yet. And the second one was a Lily, and I'm looking at this like, do we really need this? It ended up being fine. We went super ham. We had 1 death. It was me. It was great. It's a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. But, things are strange, but it's still working. It's still working, Kyle. I can't wait for the episode to come where I'm just like, well, I went on a 5-game loss streak, and I'm done with this game.
But you found the puzzle piece for your particular puzzle for now, and we have to rhythmically throw those away eventually as we get to wherever we're off to. I mean, same thing's happening with me with Greymane. I had a great go with him. I really enjoyed him, but nobody wants to support in Masters, and I'm more than okay with that. I get to play lots of Stukov. The Malfurion thing we're going to talk about today is pretty exciting, if a little maybe too busy for me. But I'm just loving getting to see cool guys, pro players, go ham when they know I got their back. It feels very World of Warcraft, taking me back to my roots. Doubled my points. I'm up to 1,800, and it feels good to be hanging in there and advancing.
That's rad, dude. Look at us, just having a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. One of us needs to have a challenge soon, so we come into this show with different opinions, and we learn something.
Well, maybe we'll have different opinions about a little hero here. I feel like I've been the killjoy all week.
Okay, well maybe we will. Let's move into Heroes of the Storm news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Can Stitches play now?
Yeah, I love it when... Oh, cigar fell in the... Oh, wait!
Yeah, so, Blaze, the Fire Bat.
Who also has great cursing lines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. You're just getting right out the bat. I love this hero, Kyle. I love this hero. Sorry. Just had to get that out of my system. So we got a chance to play Blaze the Fire Bat. He is on the PTR right now. We did the show on Thursday. Chances are, if you listen to a hero show, you already knew that and you've already played it. But whatever the case is, when we spoke last week, we didn't even have his kit. We didn't really know what the hell he was going to be doing. We had a feeling it had something to do with fire, Kyle.
Yeah, we did take the right guess and say that there was going to be flammable somethings on the ground.
That was your guess. I had no idea. I was just like, it's a fire bat. It's probably going to leave fire on the ground. I didn't think I did not think you were going to have to put something on the ground and then also light it on fire.
We're a team here, man. My success is your success. Divine Shield.
Fair enough. Yeah, screw it, man. I just want to get into it. Why is it's kind of Probius like, man? You put something down, you got to aim your thing at it, and then good things happen. I hate Probius. I love Blaze.
Well, this oil and the flames are made all the more interesting because if he's on fire, he's healing.
Yeah,
he's a big noisy guy.
Oh, he is. He's a brutish hero, Kyle. The damage that he can put out if you stand and fight this man is impressive.
Is AoE damage too, though, and that's why I'm frightened. I'm seeing trends among those who struggle normally. Those perhaps Chen players who like to feel a little put down by the game, like the game doesn't respect their hero. And I see a lot of people being like, "This is my guy to climb. Finally, it's out. The warrior I've always wanted." And I'm sitting here like, well, he looks like ETC to me, and he does about the damage of Diablo. And without the direct slamming and people into walls and doing the double slam with the giant killer on it, kind of devastate charge stuff, you will get higher damage just like Stitches, but that's because you're in there for such huge periods of time taking damage while everything's on fire around you that those numbers naturally just sort of rise to great heights. But it's not effective. It's not impactful.
It's the old random damage scenario when you fell in love with Gazlo many years ago now.
Yeah.
When you realize, dude, I can break the damage meter as Gazlo, and then you also realize that it was a low kill game because, yes, your numbers were great, but it wasn't securing anything. I think
that's why I'm worried about Blaze.
Gotcha. I think that's a little less the case here. Although I will say, like my first takeaway, because I was again, I've only tried him once on the PTR. There's only so much you can learn. I don't think I will ever come into the Nexus with a PTR experience on a hero and have a very strong opinion whether they will be good or bad. I just don't think I can wrap my brain around it in 1 week. But my first takeaway from him was he has kill potential, but it seems to be if the enemy runs away, he's great at chasing you down and kind of securing the kill. I don't think if your entire team is working together that he's going to be getting much done in an extended team fight.
Yeah, but it's a fascinating kit, and as we get into it here, it's important to note that lots of people think he's overtuned. These numbers are perhaps a little high at the moment, but we can say that he is main tank. It seems he's got the kitchen sink a bit.
Yeah. He once you just kind of get it's to me, it seems like it all comes down to just his oil management on his W. So let's go through and talk about the kit. I want to start with the W. Normally would go Q, W, E, trait, heroics. I want to start with the W because I think this is his bread and butter. That's the oil spill. It holds 2 charges. You put it down on the ground. It is semi-directional. You kind of draw the direction you want it to go, much like an Alarak push. And because of the 2 charges, you can have 2 of these oil spills out at one time. There's talents that augment your E ability to also create oil spills and whatnot. So you can have quite a few of these on the ground. But it slows, man. This is like seemed gross when I got into my first game with this guy. I realized that this slow and I could just chase people down while I'm slowing them, light the ground underneath them on fire, charge into them, forest stun, put more oil down, set that on fire too. Take a level 1 stim thing that also gives me movement speed and attack speed. He seems to kind of want to chase folk down, at least in the way I was playing around with him. But obviously, if you're not placing oil spill correctly, you're going to have some issues. So the big thing with him, and the thing that made me laugh when they kind of revealed his kit, is that when he's standing in his own fire, he heals off of it. And of course, Cloaken made the joke, yes, this is the one time you want to be standing in the fire, because someone had to make that joke. And so it kind of comes, to me, it seems like it all comes down to your oil spell placement. Because then you light it on fire with the Q ability. Again, there's other talents that cause other things that you do to light it on fire.
He's definitely supposed to be blobby. He gets in there and just ruins the battlefield for anybody who wants that melee area to be clean for them. I saw Greymanes in the PTR games really struggle into the oil as they engaged, and then their swipe carried them places, but their walk wouldn't. So they really didn't connect any of their auto attack damage except for what maybe went into Blaze, which means he's tanking. And if he's generating and it's on fire, everything's great for him.
Yeah, I had an interesting game against a butcher. I was playing on Blaze, and every time I would see that butcher engage on me, I would just throw oil at my feet, and I was just like, "All right, welcome to my world." And you set it all on fire.
Seems pretty sticky. 40%. That's really big. 2 charges. This thing is constant, and it's important to note with charges, 40 mana each. He has no mana issues that I could find.
I was definitely running out of mana, but I think I may have been going quite a bit ham. But yeah, I can't think of the last time on a warrior I ran out of mana this fast. Maybe when I first started playing Muradin.
That's fair, and that's a decent comparison as well. I mean, he has kind of all the touches. It's a well-designed hero in the fact that you can go, he's kind of got a Muradin quality to him. Well, he's more ETC. Well, he's a little more Johanna. Cool, nice job, dev team. That's pretty darn impressive at this point.
Yeah, I've seen all those turnaround. I know we got I think I noticed too in the emails later that we have a listener kind of commenting that on that as well. But to me, it feels pretty unique. It seems to want to be more of a bruiser to me, but man, I don't know. I mean, everything's on a decent cooldown. I mean, the oil spill's on 12 seconds, but there's 2 charges. Jet propulsion, which is his E, which after a half-second delay, he just charges forward, and if he collides with an enemy hero, he stuns them. And this can spread to other nearby enemy heroes.
Yeah, it's an explosion resonating from him. So if you do this in melee range while surrounded, everybody who's connected to you is stunned. Imagine Varian being a skill shot on his charge, but then AoE stun at the end of it. That's powerful.
Yeah, man, exactly what you're talking about there. I was worried about that exact scenario. I'm like, oh, this would be so cool if you're surrounded by a bunch of heroes. And then I saw that half-second delay, and I'm like, you're just gonna get wrecked before it even happens. But not if you're standing on fire and healing yourself. That half-second delay doesn't really matter.
Yep, and then you're also the tank, which means ideally you're not even getting CC'd because that'd be a waste of the enemy mana and value reserves. So this should be castable. It is a skill shot and then explodes upon hitting a hero. So if someone sees you, Blaze get low and he goes and charges up, you could leap over the top of him with Muradin and intercept the stun, stopping him from getting away. But that's pretty fancy right now, and I don't think we'll see anything like that for a bit.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And specifically in those clumped up scenarios, I think it's going to be very difficult to dodge this. If he's trying to land a jet propulsion on a single target, it's got to tell you can kind of juke it.
Particularly in big open fights. The real scary thing about Blaze and where I think he'll instantly succeed is in our big dumb comps. Kind of the Garrosh, Malthael, Blaze, Lucio. Just pile it on. Everybody running in one big pile. Don't. It doesn't matter what you cast where. Just cast everything you can.
I really, really miss Team League with you. I need to get in there because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, we run that one in quick match. They normally don't let you have the full combo on the enemy side.
Oh, you hacked the game and got Blaze early for your Team Leagues?
Well, but yeah, we were doing it with who was our off tank with the Garrosh? Oh, we didn't run one. We ran a Butcher.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah. I'm just teasing. He's got a cool trait too. It's called Pyromania. It is an activatable. It's on a 90-second cooldown, but you gain 25 armor and deal 40 damage to nearby enemies in what I would call a modest kind of AoE circle around him. He's a larger hero though. So
yeah,
when I'm saying it's modest, it's a decent sized circle because of the size of Blaze. So this pulses every half second for 4 seconds total. Also, back to your Q ability, your Flame Stream, which is a fine skill shot that deals damage and whatnot, but really you want to be lighting those oil spills on fire. Every time you hit an enemy hero with that, it reduces the cooldown of jet propulsion by 1.25 seconds. Or not jet propulsion. Pyromania by 5 seconds. Sorry, I'm getting my jet propulsion is a 1.25 second is the stun on jet propulsion. The cooldown reduction by landing flame streams on Pyromania is 5 seconds, and this adds up really fast.
It does, because you were doing 2 streams out the front. And if you aim to hit one stream, you'll miss entirely. And if you aim to hit both streams, you'll only hit one. It's a tough skill shot, actually. It's 2 thin little Genji dashes.
Yeah, but it's on 4 second cooldown and only costs you 25 mana. Just keep casting it. It's fine. You'll figure it out.
Flame Stream, despite all the fire flying out of this guy all the time, is the only thing that lights the oil, unless you take a level 7 auto attack talent.
Correct. But again, it's only a 4 second cooldown.
If anything, you'll be casting Flame Stream so frequently that you'll mess up your oil spills in that order.
Right. Yeah. You're more concerned about managing your oil spills, because while you do get 2 charges, once both are spent, it's a 12 second cooldown per charge to get another charge back. So you can definitely squeeze in more flame streams than you have oil spills.
And some people might be thinking out there, but that's not the kitchen sink. Where's his unstoppable? Well, it's level 1, and it takes you 15 regen globes to get it. And that's not a high number.
No, it isn't. But there's also a bunch of different stims in there, and I had a lot of fun just with the stim talent at 1 that increases your movement speed and attack speed.
Yeah, there's some cute ones. They're all free mana cost anyway. Most of them are on a 30-second to 40-second cooldown. Some of them give that attack speed bonus, movement speed bonus. We have Endurance Stim Pack, which gives you a shield, which means you can maybe fill out like a Malfurion healer, which is really nice. Neural Stim Pack, though, perhaps the most horrifying, gives 50 mana and increases the regeneration rate of everything for 5 seconds by 100%, including heroics on the PTR.
Yeah. Seems kind of gross.
Pretty intense, but you're trading, shields and unstoppable for it, so maybe it's balance.
I think that's fair. I think that I don't know off the top of my head which one of these I want. I will admit that while I am singing Adrenaline Stim Packs, that's the attack speed and movement speed one, I'm singing that talent's praises. It feels a little more like a win more talent to me. I don't think it's helping me tank.
I think due to his range and the way his CC engages, that's why I want him as part of the big dumb comp. I don't want to be trapped as Blaze behind a wall while a Haunted Mines golem sieges.
Yeah. Scary. It feels like a scary hero to be behind on, for sure.
But you're ahead in Infernal Shrines, and you're going to control that entire thing. Nobody can even get in there. You can get cute, too, which is the optimization for it. Oil spill lasts you 5 seconds with that 40% slow on the ground. When you light it on fire, it then is on fire for 2.5 seconds. So get yourself 7.5 seconds out of your mana cost instead of just the 5. Or don't ruin it, basically. Let it sit there.
Yeah, that's going to be the kind of min-maxing, I think, that's going to separate me out the gate from people who learn how to play this hero correctly.
Well, we're looking to answer those questions anyway. Immediately start thinking down that line.
Yeah. So we haven't talked about heroics, Kyle, which means we haven't talked about the greatest thing in the history of Heroes of the Storm. A bunker is now in the game.
There is a bunker.
His first option for heroic is literally dropping a StarCraft bunker out of the damn sky that he just automatically enters and he can fire his flame stream out of. And then I was watching the video and I'm like, oh my god, tell me friendly heroes can enter this thing. And they can, Kyle, and they can attack out of it.
They can, but as a flamethrower, actually.
Yes, they don't get to use any of their own abilities. They get like a little mini flame stream as well.
This is such an exciting, awesome ability. And when we look at something like Medevac or any of these kind of cute ones, we go, ooh, that's what I'm going. But, I'm here to deliver the sad news. Optimization leaves bunker drop with some really weird ass play, just like our Volskaya robot.
What do you mean optimization?
So you got your bunker drop. It comes down after half a second. This bunker has health, 1,300 health. Not a ton, particularly when you compare it to Blaze's total health, which is the third highest in the game at level 1. Like, he's rolling up there with Stitches and Cho for having that much health. So you put down this bunker that has very little health. And when you exit it, you get 25 armor. Also, the damage you deal is set by the flamethrower. So in order to actually do maximum effectiveness with a bunker, you would want to use all your cooldowns, just like you would before you popped into an Odin or some sort of form like that. Get inside, fire the flamethrower, which has its own little cooldown. And during the cooldown on the flamethrower, you should jump out, cast your abilities again with 25 armor, jump back inside to do your flamethrower, jump out, jump in, jump out.
I'm absolutely fine with it, and I support it 100%.
Okay, here's the next bummer. I haven't actually. Let's do a positive first. The bunker dispels effects on you and soaks things that are currently in the air targeting you. So if you have a pyroblast and you find the bunker, you can climb inside, and that pyroblast will target the bunker instead, saving your life, perhaps. Yep. And it also dispels poisons or living bombs. If you climb inside, that thing goes away.
Yep. However, okay. All you're doing is telling me really cool things about the bunker, Kyle.
However, if you're watching its low health, you can put a living bomb on it. It dies. Everybody pops out. Everybody gets living bombed. Maybe a little too, Lost Vikings cute there. Maybe that's something we won't have to deal with. The real sad part about bunker is the sweet strategies are gone. It counts as stasis. It counts as non-existent. If you are thinking you're totally going to achieve that boss steal by throwing a bunker on top, you do not exist, and you will not cap the pad. You will not channel a Volskaya pad if everybody's inside this. You will not get Sky Temple shots if everybody inside this.
I think that's also okay. I mean, yeah, it'd be great. And if you're wanting to play Firebat, then that would be an awesome plus. But I don't think you need enough pluses. This is already a very exciting hero, in my opinion. And I look at Bunker. It should be more reactionary, right? Like you mentioned that Kael'thas thing. Maybe don't take it against Kael'thas. Because I don't think that does not sound that hard to do. Most Kael'thas's have a pretty good idea of how much damage their living bomb will do before it explodes. So if they, I don't think it's that hard to kind of time it so that it doesn't blow up until the bunker itself blows up. But that's a choice you get to make. If KT, you could still take it and just not do it when Kael'thas is around. Or do it by yourself when it doesn't matter if you get the living bomb. I don't know. It seems reactionary to me, and that kind of excites me.
And it does have those play moments. And if you use it for dispelling and that control, I believe it body blocks, too, in a large area, but I haven't really tested that out much. There are going to be these opportunities for that to be really cool. Level 20, Fortified Bunker, allows people to have a secondary spell when they're inside and cast Oil Spill for you. So 5 people doing this jump in, jump out thing, but oil everywhere. That's pretty neat.
Do they have to jump in, jump out, or can they just cast it from inside? That makes no sense. Why would you have to jump out?
Well, because you cast it, and then it's a 6-second cooldown, and then you use your flamethrower, which is on like a 2-second cooldown, and then you're sitting there for 2 seconds, 4 seconds, not doing a thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, how important do you think that really is? Because I feel like if you're going in the bunker, you're going in the bunker to survive, not necessarily to min-max your damage.
It's true. Everybody kind of picks their pet project a lot of the time. Sometimes you'll hat these guys as Abathur, and they're like, you gave me a shield and shot 2 shots. Get out of here. And you're like, dude, I'm just playing quick match Abathur at midnight. Don't get on my case, bro. But everybody has their thought processes, and this is the obvious sort of mental gymnastics we do when we start thinking about optimization of this ability. The reason why I bring this up so hard, why I'm poo-pooing poor bunker drops so much, even though it is amazingly cool, is because combustion channels for 2.6 seconds going woo pretty obviously, hey guys, I'm going to explode and slow everybody in the area by 60% and deal damage. That's like bunny hop. That's mosh pit. That's everybody kill everything, and Johanna didn't disappear into the air town.
Yep. No, I'm not going to fight combustion with bunker drop, but I think bunker drop has merits, and I don't think it's min-maxing your damage. I think that is a trap mental state to be in. I'll be happy to be proven wrong.
And I might be entirely wrong because of the simple health of the bunker that it's not worth interacting with that much. But maybe the flamethrower damage is too low, and that could be adjusted in the future, so nobody has to feel like they have to jump in and jump out because that damage is good.
Yeah, but you're right. Combustion, his other heroic, is just a more traditional, don't let this hit you, gain even more control of the battleground momentarily, even if it misses type of heroic. So as you said, it's a 2.6 second channel. When that channel ends, it slows enemies by, it's a 60% slow.
Yeah.
It deals damage every half second. And on top of that, it's slow, and its damage over time duration is extended the longer you let that channel go. Up to, so it starts at 1 second, so that's slow, and that damage every half second will happen at minimum everyone, for 1 second, but up to 5 seconds you let it channel for its full duration before unleashing it. Also, your movement speed is cut in half while you're channeling.
Right, and lots of mistakes can be made there. It's a longer cooldown, 80 seconds compared to the 40 of the bunker drop. But it's big, it's visual, it's telegraphed, and that's kind of what we want, Hero League style.
Exactly. And especially, yeah. Very good point. Very good point, Kyle. You're taking these two heroics for very different reasons, which should be an obvious statement. I think that's the team's goal with most heroics in this game, and sadly, it's not always successful, right? We tend with most heroes, speaking in generalizations, to lean towards one heroic. I think we'll be leaning towards Combustion, but I don't care. I think Bunker Drop's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Right,
and the playmaking potential of leaving a bunker sitting in the background while people fight forward, maybe not even using it, but diving into it to avoid Lunara poisons, and now we can run something other than Brightwing or Lucio. How neat would that be, perhaps? Sounds like a lot of work, but it just could happen.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Absolutely right. But should we move on to Malfurion?
Yeah, let's talk Malfurion, because he got reworked again.
Yeah. So, dude, what is going on with him, man? There are so many changes in this rework.
So Malfurion has been gamified. All of our supports have had some sort of mini game worked into them or some sort of additional power that others do not possess. And they wanted to make him a bit more druidy even, which is pretty neat.
Okay. All right. I'm on board.
So first off, his attack damage is down. Malfurion right now, his solo support, is bringing a lot of damage due to his level 1 Celestial alignment. Don't read into it too much. It's 4 damage, but they want to make sure they can keep that talent as it was. We talked about it last week. And let it stay. But the big news is the regrowth, which is now reduced in its mana cost, no longer has a upfront heal, no burst heal at all heal over time.
Yep.
The duration was increased to 20 seconds, and the healing was decreased.
I think this is kind of really awesome.
It is when we start to work in all the talents and the way new Tranquility and Moonfire works with it. It's important to say it's got to be a little blob because he's really interwoven. So when you cast Moonfire now, if somebody has a regrowth active on them, they will be healed for 140 instantly. So if you're thinking you have a 5-second cooldown on your regrowth, it lasts for 20 seconds. You can have 4 of these going at once, and you Moonfire people spreading around bonus healing. So if you want to do a burst heal, catch somebody as they're about to die, you have to throw out your regrowth on them and then slam somebody with a Moonfire.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You know, here is me, Kyle. I will be the first to step up in line and play Malfurion. I won't be particularly happy about it. I find him a little on the boring side. This sounds way more interesting, much more active. Reminds me of Stukov in terms of how active you have to be.
Yeah, Stukov's got a real special game with that bio kill switch business going on, also interacting with his aggressive weighted pustule. My biggest concern here is Malfurion too busy, and Stukov is the easier, lazy man's better option? Is the work I put into being a good Malfurion, working so hard to maintain regrowth cooldowns, worth it?
I don't think it's that bad, considering that it's a 20-second duration. I mean, this is going to be hanging out on your friendlies for a while.
It does. And the nice thing about it is this milk and cookies kind of play style that I play with Malfurion is very roamish. I want to go visit the top, give him some mana and some healing, and then leave for an extended period of time. And what if I run top, give him that healing, give him that mana, run back in the middle, slam some Moonfires, and up in the top, he wins a team fight, or a smaller version of it anyway. Like, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It could also potentially be too strong, but that's something they could rein in. They could even add a range on the burst heal that you get from landing a Moonfire when a regrowth is on another target.
Right. There's lots of turnable dials here that can keep this game active if it ends up being a balance issue.
Yeah.
One of the cute talents he gets at level 1 is Nature's Swiftness. For each active regrowth, you gain 5% movement speed.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, booking around a little bit, get some 20% speed. Later on at 16, you can take a talent that allows you to have yet another active regrowth out by increasing that duration by 5 seconds. So there you can have 5 and get that 25 movement speed as well as other effects.
Yeah. I mean, so where do you fall, man? I've been just like personal opinion man all episode long. What do you think of Malfurion? Are you in the pro or the con?
I think Malfurion is very active. I like him because he has dive reduction. You already have a regrowth going on you in most fights, particularly with this duration now. You're going to throw one on yourself during some downtime. If you get ganked or dove, at least it's ticking. And then you can, after getting dove, throw some roots under your feet and walk away using an alt click. You know, that's just holding down alt and then hitting that W or E key for yourself. Puts it right underneath you. Zeratul, he's trapped now. Unable to pursue. There's even a special talent now that when you get stunned, you instantly have your roots to cast. So they've really empowered that part of him, and that's where I take Malfurion over somebody else. They also gave him a new version of Cleanse, which is an AoE everybody who has regrowth without the resistance cleanse. So it removes stuns, roots, and slows for everybody under the effects of regrowth. Including yourself.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Good way to get out of stuff if it only has one application. Will be entirely useless against Moshpit because that's reapplying itself over and over again.
Right. And you'd only... And even so... I mean, the amount of time you'd have to get off like a new regrowth onto a specific target that just got stunned, and also like you kind of have to have them rolling already on the targets.
Very much so. And just like our WoW druids do, you know, there's the paladins sitting there doing nothing before the pull. And then there's the hardworking druids and priests who are putting shields on everybody. And they want you to pull right now, damn it, and stop wasting my cooldowns. Not that I have any opinion.
What are you talking about? That doesn't sound like a personal personal experience whatsoever.
There is a glowing circle around you. The priest is ready.
Go.
Discipline priest.
Go. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. On paper, all I did was play Firebat on PTR. I did not try the new Malfurion. But on paper, this looks very exciting to me.
It is. One big hit that came in this to Malfurion is roots no longer affect non-heroic targets. So that's a pretty big hit to his lane clear. And if you wanted to hold and freeze a lane in its particular spot, but that doesn't come into use very often.
I mean, we kind of knew this was coming, right? Like, we've read multiple dev comments now that are like, hey guys, some supports are probably doing a few too many things, a few too many well, to, butcher the English language.
I did it earlier with Mark Twain, no big deal. Twilight Dream has been completely unchanged throughout this whole thing, but Tranquility has been changed around. Cooldowns, mana cost, all that sort of business. The main thing you want to pay attention to is first, it looks really sweet because there's like these ley line cracks under the ground while he flies around. Very pretty. If you have regrowths active on people under the effect of Tranquility, they get 10 armor. Not the biggest thing in the world, but some sort of resistance.
Yeah, man. It's cool. It's aura light. Right, it's like this micromanagement to get these type of. It can be an aura-like effect. You can empower, or save multiple people on your team, but it's all dependent on whether your regrowth is on them or not.
Right, and if you took the time to get it preset up, which is a very fun mini game to play.
And you should have already been doing as Malfurion, right? What was one of the earliest tips probably ever gave on the show was, hey, before the fight starts, throw regrowth on your team.
Get that thing rolling.
Get him rolling, man. Get him rolling. It was great. It's again, that was the thing. Like in the very early day, I was like, man, it feels like playing a druid in World of Warcraft. How cool is that? And then this narrative has just continued as they've added hero after hero to the game, where I'm like, wow, it's just like playing X in Y game, except for probies. He feels nothing like a probe, and I still don't like him.
I do play a lot of probies. It's actually one of my favorite quick matches. But the interactions with Alarak, they're superb. You should listen to them.
Fair enough. By the way, just one more time, just huge cheers, man, to frickin' Fire Bad voice lines. Just makes me so happy. He's walking around, just I'm always hot and bothered. I love it. I love it so much. We need to get that into some drops stat.
Oh yes, yeah. Particularly the cursing lines where it's covered up with a fire.
I don't think I've heard those.
Oh, they're great. They're simple movement lines too. You don't even have to click them a bunch.
Oh, so good. So freaking good. Anyways, there were a few other changes on the PTR we did want to mention. Battlefield of Eternity is getting a few tweaks. The mini-map is now going to indicate where the Immortals are going to spawn 30 seconds after the game begins. A little old man on my front porch about this one, Kyle. I kind of liked the not knowing. I liked the unknown of just like, it's time to report. Where are we going to report? I don't know, but we're going to the middle and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, maybe it's... The problem is getting people in range for it. I have noticed throughout lower leagues, through my training over the holidays with people, that they are just reporting, and these ghost images are very, very helpful.
Yeah, no, it's fine, and it's rewarding you, right, for actually looking at the map, looking at something other than your hero.
And if you're looking at the minimap for some information, you might get other information. Hey, become a better player. Plus, we don't know where it's going to swap to. So there's still that randomized danger.
Yeah. There's just something I liked, though, about just marching into the fog of war before the Immortal even spawned. Just like, and we go into the fog. Who knows? Especially when you don't know where the enemies are. Man, it was such a hold your breath moment. It's like, are we going to get into the sickest bloodbath ever before, 5 seconds before the Immortal spawns? Or are we just going to have a gentleman's powwow in the middle?
I feel you. I think it's a neutral change, but matches the current state of the other battlegrounds.
Yeah. So subsequent Immortal indicators are going to appear on the minimap shortly after a previously summoned Immortal has been defeated. So not before. Not that you should be looking at that if an Immortal is on the field. The swap locations are not going to appear. The battleground rotation is not being changed.
Congratulations, Garrett.
There's a party at my house tomorrow night. You're all invited. It's the no battleground rotation change party. Bring your own bourbon.
This is a nice change with Johanna. A little thing.
She can, during Falling Sword, she can no longer take damage or be targeted while initially casting that heroic Falling Sword.
Yeah, we use Falling Sword a little bit in our team league. John surprised us with it last week on Braxis as he used it to hold out for the final 2 seconds of the pad and then teleport away. It was a great strategy, but it was scary. It left him vulnerable to stuns and things catching him, and then he would have gone on that 8-second timer. This gets rid of that.
Yeah, that sounds super cute. I would just say give him the damn thing. Who cares about it? But yeah, and it worked out. You guys won the game.
We did. Yeah.
Sweet.
We're pretty good at Braxis. But basically, don't draft to lose. Whatever you do, don't get lane clear on Braxis.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Volskaya.
Oh, well, no wonder you thought it was cute.
My bad.
Nice job, guys, when you're stratting to get the sweet robot that doesn't matter.
Sorry, in my brain, I was just like, oh, you're holding a pad. It's probably got a letter over it. No, that's where my brain goes.
And in my head, I was going, oh, Garrett doesn't respect the Zergway. No. Ask him about that in the future.
No, you should. If that's what you thought, you should have asked me about it right now, because it would have made it click even sooner.
Barreling towards you with Hydralisk and Ultralisk, and Garrett's just like, screw this thing, guys. You want to go take a camp or something?
No. The only thing that scares me more than a Zergwave are still regeneration orbs. Those things still scare me to death.
Arcane Punishers.
I don't mind the Arcane Punishers.
I think, particularly if you get into tanking and big old guys like Asmodan or maybe Blaze here, you can have that laser beam right under your feet for an extended period of time without knowing it.
That's a good point. Fair enough. I don't play Asmodan for reasons that should be obvious if you've ever listened to any other episodes. Why are you talking to me, Siri? Go away. Anyways, Blizz Travis got on the horn and talked to us about game times earlier this week, and he said that game times are running a bit faster than they would like right now, particularly in the high MMR bands, that there are some tuning changes coming soon to help out with that, and that the shorter game times are largely driven by the strength of push, particularly with mercenaries, allowing the leading team to take structures and end before the other team has time to come back. He said that increasing the strength of pushing with mercs is intended, but it's likely a bit too strong right now. I've been noticing that in, again, the stats available to us through stuff like hot logs, with the mercenary talents on Sonya right now. There's still the least picked talent, but the win rate on it is skewed very high.
Yeah, we also saw this in map objectives on hot logs, those very frightening facts that let you know if a team gets the very first objective, like on Brax's Holdout, they have an 82% chance to win. That number used to be a little lower 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I was hoping for, a longer back and forth kind of lane game with these changes. So I'm fine if they want to kind of push back against this, make it not as strong.
It's an interesting puzzle because they did encourage the early game, but that means that you're giving double orbs to Blaze, who is working on his unstoppable talent in level 1, versus someone who shouldn't be solo laning at all. Maybe a Lily or something. Actually, Lily might be pretty good at it. But, getting completely zoned out by her opponent. That turns into a lead. He takes that, gets a Merc camp. Now the lead's a little too powerful. My poor Team League team fought Glogan this past weekend. They've been flying in some folks from Masters to fight us, and he ran 4 specialists, 1 Illidan on Warhead Junction, and destroyed us in 7 minutes.
Oh God, what a cheese!
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can smell it from here. Someone pour me a fine wine.
But you're not going to lose team fights. You're not going to, lose objectives versus a team like that. Now, what you lose to is the double Hellbat stack with the armor reduction it gives to the buildings. And, of course, Logan's Illidan didn't give a care if anyone in the world was targeting him. And that kind of goes into the swordsman analogy we talked about earlier. You just see this Illidan going at you, and most of them run away. But Glogan didn't.
Nope.
He got on that core, and that was the end. So there's a special, madness situation there. But if you want to win, particularly something really handily like Dragonshire right now, you get the Giants in the bottom lane, get your Bruiser camp, stand inside of it for sweet spell armor. When that gets to the wall, everybody freaks out and goes, oh my God, there's so much there. We have to fight it. Someone has to get out there and kill that mage. And someone like Malthael might go, I got this for the team. And he walks out there and gets destroyed. Now we have a bit of a stagger going. You kill them, you destroy that building, you go take the other siege giants. Now you have this triple stack of the mercenaries giving 30% spell reduction, and you go get the keep, and then you go for a win.
Yeah. Get a little bit more specific. Looks like there was also a blue response to a thread, I believe today on the subreddit. Technically yesterday, but pointing out that not only will structures be being changed and mercenaries be being changed, but also regen globes are a target. So he said keep an eye out in next week's patch notes. Or not next week's, but just keep an eye out for the patch notes.
Seems like it's coming fast, though. The Seams of Blaze tie-in.
Would you say it's coming in at blazing speed?
I would.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's going to set the subreddit ablaze with conversation.
Yeah. It's a lit conversation right here.
All right. Well, before we take some emails and wrap this up, let's thank our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN for supporting Into the Nexus. There are hundreds of you over there right now. We like to call you all our bosses because, well, you kind of are. Kyle and I, get to keep a roof over our heads because many of you fine folks see fit to support this podcast with dollars, and we really appreciate that. So if you like Into the Nexus and you would like to support the show, patreon.com/ITN is the best way to do so. And this week we wanted to thank Richard, no last name given, Zach R, Hannah D, Velvet, no last name given, and Brian M. Thank you very, very much for supporting the podcast. We appreciate it. Again, it was such a strange end of the year on that front, so thank you, everybody. Now let's take some emails, which you can send into the show at itncast@gmail.com.
Darkness stopped calling.
Does anyone else hear that buzzing?
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Oh, I just looked at the chat room. I live for reactions to bad jokes like this. Daryl writes in and says, tell me if you've heard this one before. A tanky character charges forward, stunning an enemy. Then they displace the enemy and deal AoE damage around themselves. ETC, Diablo, Firebat, Cho, Misha? Who knows? Blizzard has clearly pushed the boundaries of MOBA character design with heroes like Abathur and Cho'Gall. But are they struggling with diversity in the existing territory? Is that a huge thing now at 75 heroes? But 100? 150? Brr. 120 in Dota 2, 140 in LoL. Bonus, how exactly do you think Reinhardt will charge for it in stun? Oh, I actually proofread this email and I just did not read that last little zinger. Thank you, Daryl. You already made so many kind of comparisons to existing tanks in the show, Kyle. But I gotta say, there's just something about playing the Firebat that doesn't feel like ETC, that doesn't feel like Diablo to me.
No, I feel you. It is its own thing, and it's got a little bit of everybody in there. And, that might be enough. I think the mini game to play with managing the efficiency of your oil, and if you indeed in your spamming did run out of mana, we have room for optimization. We have room for people to be really good Garroshes when he's not broken, in a sense, when he's not being feared constantly and getting those bans. And will Blaze be on point on release? Was his damage too high? That changes everything. Never forget Zarya release, where we all went, what the heck is this for? Who would want this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like, Daryl, you make a great narrative, man. And that Reinhardt joke, oh man, that's killing me. But at the same time, like, to kind of like pick it apart, like ETC is super squirrely. Firebat is anything but. Firebat is lumbering, and he has to commit. And if he screws up, he is stuck out in the open.
When I first saw the kit, and without seeing the video, I thought he put out oil spill and then could skate on his oil.
That would be so dumb.
It would be.
I would have rioted,
really
man.
bad.
It would have been the stupidest thing ever.
But you can put out two and make yourself a little, toboggan track.
There should be a talent where at least your allies move faster on your oil.
Well, apparently there's a talent that works nanomachines into oil. Man, the future's dumb sometimes.
Nanomachines.
Who's going to put nanomachines in something you light on fire? Unless they're resistant to fire, which they might be. Because fire doesn't exist at a molecular level, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if anything, maybe Cho. Maybe Cho is the most apt comparison, but he's still different in his own way.
Yeah, I'd say I think Muradin's the closest because you're going to leap in, be in your new spot for a committed amount of time, and just cause a bunch of noise once you get in there.
I think that's very fair. If
Muradin's tanking, not hunt him down, leap him Muradin style.
Well, I think Firebat is more the latter than the former because of Muradin's stun is on an ability completely separate from his leap. Whereas if If Blaze wants to get a stun, he has to use his movement ability. On Muradin, we always talk about making that choice. Are you using Dwarf Toss to engage, or are you keeping it ready, or you're not using it and you're walking yourself in to either re-engage on your own back line because something like a Valyria is just going to pop out and engage, or Illidan's going to dive, or you don't trust your teammate and you're going to have to your teammates you're going to have to save yourself by Dwarf Tossing yourself to safety. I don't think you're making that decision on Blaze, because if you're keeping his E ability ready, you're not stunning.
You're also not gaining health by doing this. And for Muradin, he gives himself armor. So there's that choice to make where you're going to leap in, but you're 2 levels up. So you won't die in that 10-second window, and you'll have another leap to get out.
Right. He's, damn it, now he's kind of like Artanis. Like, you want to live? Keep fighting.
This is a tough conversation to have.
Yeah.
Who is Blaze like?
Yeah. I think in my head, he's unique. He did little bits and pieces pulled from many different warriors that currently exist in Heroes of the Storm, but in execution, on delivery, feeling wholly unique to me.
And I think when you want to find the uniqueness of a draft and a tank, you look at the type of support you would have backing you up. You can't do some supports with others. Monk, Diablo, that's going to go nowhere. You might win, sure. You dive forward, lots of dive, boom, boom, boom. Everybody wins real quick. Nobody gets hurt. But regenerating Diablo with a monk would be near impossible. Blaze's level 1 talents, particularly the shield one, really interests me because that gives you the catch to run something like a Malfurion or a Brightwing. And his build can adjust for that survivability while he provides himself with his own healing and his own armor, which gives him that kind of Stitches quality, where he can work with anybody. Let's make sure the team doesn't over-support so we lack damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
There's also a horrifying bummer talent here. Level 16. Actually, it's amazing, which is why it's a bummer for Arthas. Juggernaut Plating. Activate to gain 50 spell armor for 3 seconds. Upon expiration of that spell armor, gain a shield equal to 100% of the blocked damage forever. 16. Where's Arthas one that is awful? Is it level 20?
Yeah, it's level 20, Kyle.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Want to buy Hardened Shield. Just bring back Hardened Shield, please. Thank you.
Yeah, Anti-Magic Shell is such a disappointment.
It's absolute crap. And it's really late crap.
Yeah.
It's like your significant other saying, "Open that present last," and it sucks.
I mean, what would be Blaze's ideal? If we're going combustion, we're going oil builds. We want to clog a lot of melee and slam into them, multi-stunning them. Is there anyone better at that? Maybe Johanna empowers her allies to spread around living bombs and it gets people together, but Blaze keeps them together, which is something Johanna struggles at.
Yeah, I think it kind of plays into that anti-dive from Malfurion you were talking about. He can really hold his ground. If you see it coming, you just wait till it lands, then you use your E. You don't have to use it to engage. You can let them engage, and then you disrupt that engagement by charging in, stunning, and setting the ground underneath them into a kill zone.
Curious to know if this oil is the new tech we heard about whispered at BlizzCon, something they weren't willing to talk about. We had the turning tech for like Alex Strauss's head moving around. There was some new tech with, of course, the cameras, and then we're working that stuff. But I'm curious to know if the thing they wouldn't tell us then is this or something else coming.
I don't know. I mean, it is unique. And it's, well, I'm not sure it is that unique. I mean, it's already Probius. It's very Probius-esque. You put something down, you fire something through it to empower it.
Pretty, though.
Except this hangs around rather than exploding immediately. But I really like him. I don't know how effective he's going to be, but it's a really fun hero to play.
What does this put us at? So if we add Blaze to the mix, We've got Blaze, ETC, Arthas, Stitches, Johanna. Varian has to get to 10, so I'm not really going to count that. So that gives us, 4 main tanks? And as long as Murden can focus, we can have a 5th? 6 with Blaze?
Yeah, I think so. I'm you confident saying he's main tank? I think I'm confident.
Yeah. No, he fills it all out. He has damage reduction, CC for the enemy side, self-regeneration, a health pool that is stellar, and all the crowd control you could really want. It's a great kit.
Yeah. All right. Rad. Bring it.
Done.
Bring it. Now can we please get some new specialists?
Yes, that would be... Oh my god, can you imagine? Can you imagine if that was the next hero? Guys, we're aware game times are a little short, but coming to the Nexus to destroy your buildings.
But Kyle, wouldn't that make sense if they're making these adjustments, that it's because something is about to hit and they're like, oh god, if we add this, it's all over. It's all over, guys. 10-minute games.
I think you're correct. I absolutely think you're correct.
I think support's getting reined in was all because we're getting a main tank with fairly strong self-regeneration in the form of Blaze.
Yeah.
Part of the reason. There's so many reasons, but I think that's part of it. So please. I realize I just got one of the things I always wanted, which is a fire bat. But it's never good enough, and I want more specialists. Thank you. Crushinator is bringing us home with the final email today. Crushinator says, I need to spout off on some players who think they are too good for their league for a minute. All right, Crushinator, the floor is yours. He says, I listen to several Heroes podcasts. I watch several Heroes streamers. I watch nearly every HGC event, follow the Heroes subreddit, and I even stream the game myself. I know a lot about this game, but what I want people to know is that game knowledge isn't what determines your league. Performance and wins determine your league. I can have all the strats and know exactly what to do, but all that means nothing if I can't do it. If I'm missing skill shots and stepping out of position, it doesn't matter if I knew better. If I constantly get ganked in lane for forgetting to check the minimap, it doesn't matter if I know the importance of the minimap. When people complain they are stuck in their league, they're saying they know better than those around them. That doesn't matter if you can't actually play better than those around you. Mechanical play is the most impactful part of your game, and it needs to be your focus.
Preach it.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That is good stuff right there.
Yeah. That's very well written, and I don't disagree with a single part of it. And that's kind of the mission statement of like, so often we get on the show, especially when Dunk's on, we're like, hey man, help us make sense of HGC. And what we mean by that is like, yeah, all this is great, but a lot of it is pointless for you to know and unhelpful because your other members of your team, you didn't practice with them all year. You don't live together. You haven't played a bunch of tournaments together. It's a pickup game. You guys went to your local basketball court and said, you want to play a game? And they said yes. And that's as far as it went. Now imagine you did that and then you all put on earmuffs and you couldn't hear each other.
It's a very unique culture.
Yeah. 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 I got nothing else. This is perfect. This is perfectly written. I got nothing else to say.
It's definitely the tougher lessons that I do are the ones with people with great game knowledge, but you end up saying, then show me. You know, you Morpheus it. I know Kung Fu. Show me. Do it. I want to see that.
Yeah.
But what I would say to those who are struggling to find their focus, if you're looking for the quick tip out of this, you're like, it's all well and good, but I have lots of game knowledge and I just don't get to play very much. Quick casting. It's time. Do everything a little faster. One click less.
Yep.
Stop caring about where your pretty buildings are and just place them.
I still have issues landing those damn hungry arrows, man. I'm not playing Vala at all, except on Battlefield of Eternity. But yeah, I still have issues with that, and that's going to cost me. And
those are, of course, more important things because they are a skill shot. But if you're talking like Living Bomb and it's costing you a second to take Living Bomb, particularly, I just need to make sure nobody's actually like hot bar clicking here and then clicking the enemy, right? Nobody out here is doing that, right? Because we all did that in World of Warcraft for like a year till we learned better.
No, that was definitely only you if it was a year.
I certainly did in Warcraft 3 and took it into Warcraft with me. Very bad idea.
For a year, my first year of playing WoW, which was vanilla, I didn't know I could spec talents into my hunter pet. So I was level 42 and my pet was doing no damage and never held threat.
Nice.
I
did the same.
That was my bad thing. And I also, oh man. One more. We're getting to WoW territory, but this is just I love this story. We're doing Zul'Aman. Was that the 10-man troll raid in Burning Crusade?
Yes.
ZA, yeah, Zul'Aman. And we're doing oh god, was it whatever boss that you need a trank shot for? And they're like, all right, Garrett, you're gonna have to get. This is my first time through. You're gonna have to trank shot on this boss. And I just go, I don't think I ever got trank shot from my trainer. And everyone's just like, what are you doing, you idiot?
Oh, no. You had to save the 4 gold.
I mean, it was back when I was leveling in vanilla, and I was broke as hell, and I didn't have friggin' trank shot. So I had to hearth back to town, grab trank shot. They had to summon me back. It was years, Kyle, years of being the trank shot guy in that guild.
To be fair, though, I mean, that Ogremar hunter trainer was so back in the boonies that I thought I was going to be purchasing illicit substances. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I was a night elf at the time, so I was trying to find the hunter trainer in Stormwind, which isn't that hard. It's by the damn tram, but yeah, nonetheless, we've all been
go through like 5 Colosseums, past 50 orcs.
All of this is to say, no, I don't think most people are clicking their hotbar and dragging it out onto the screen. I don't think that's a thing most of us are doing. And if you are, that's fine. You now have your homework. Work on your Q, your W, your E, and your R. And sometimes your D if you're on a hero that has an active trait. That's your homework. Also, I'd be very surprised if you listen to podcasts about this game if you were that early on in the process. But God, I'd love to hear from you if that was the case.
Yeah. Also, I hear from a lot of older gamers that are, suffering from computer-related physical ailments. I mean, carpal tunnel being one of the more serious, but arthritis as well. I mean, that hurts. And going through those options, your hotkey options, and removing those bonus button clicks can really help you out. Yeah, absolutely. Did a lot of yard work over the break. Had a very, very sore right hand. The old squeezle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was working a pair of snips in my right hand for 2 days straight.
Oh, that'll give you that. That feeling.
Yeah, that fat the thumb joint where it kind of hits the base of your palm. Yeah, no good. But
yard work in the winter, huh? Must be Florida.
It is definitely Florida. That's when you do it, man. You're not out there just like evaporating into a puddle.
That's true. Got to squeeze it in.
You would melt into a puddle and then evaporate, but whatever the case is, we are at the end of an episode of Into the Nexus. Next week, you would think to yourself it would be episode 200, but you would be wrong. It's episode 199.5 because we're scheduling some things.
Yes. It's a celebratory but must be delayed thing.
Yes.
And we look forward to bringing it to you all.
Exactly. So there will be some things happening on episode 200, but next week we're going to call it 199 and a half. So we will be here for that on our normal Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So come and join us if you've never joined a live Into the Nexus. Consider it. Twitch.tv/AMOTV is where you can come and watch the show live. You can join the chat room. And in 2 weeks' time, when we're doing our 200th episode, I would say you'd probably want to be there live. It's going to be a good time. So anyways, let's wrap this up. Thank you again to our badass patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. Thank you seriously for the support, everybody. That's how we do this for a living. Thank you to our producers, Declan H. and Cheesy Bob. Thank you, guys. You can get our t-shirts at shirts.amove.tv. Go and check them out. Get yourself an Into the Nexus movie poster-style t-shirt. I designed it myself. Some fun in-jokes on that shirt if you haven't looked at it. And follow the show on Twitter at ITNcast. Got to thank Gorath for our intro music and BrianGriffithMusic.com for our outro music. Before we go, Kyle, where can folks find you doing all of the other things around the web that you do?
You should check out, I normally advertise the Team League stream on the weekends, 2 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday. And sometimes I advertise the Divinity stream. But this week, I really want you to check out the main Hero League show. Happens Monday through Wednesday on my channel at twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson. We have been going celebrity searching. It has been an absolute delight battling it out in High Masters. This week we battled Crowan and Rafflecopter. And it's just such a treat to watch them go. And then some Greymane dude who was just, oh, what a champion. Like, holy crap. He didn't care if I had heals for him, and he didn't want them. He didn't want to be in range. He was too busy killing the entire backline by himself. What a treat.
Oh man, that was another breakthrough I've had recently, and it was something that I think Dunk was trying to impart on me the last time he kind of gave me some tips. Was just like, know when it's okay for you to die. Like, yeah. It's just time to go. It's time to get this done, because the effort the enemy team is going to expend killing you, securing that kill, is going to set the rest of your team up for success.
We do a lot of worth it deaths in the old Uther and Friends stream. So you can check it out.
Nice. All right, folks. I'm on Twitter at GarrettArt. If you've never spelt my name before, there's 2 R's and 2 T's in Garrett. amove.tv for all of the other podcasts. Kyle, you and I will be back this upcoming Monday for our other podcast with the two of us called Week Sauce, which is spelled WEEK sauce, all one word. Getting your week started off with an early Monday released show where we talk about just random nerd going-ons in the world. If you were one of the 5 people that listen to A-Move Radio, it's pretty much that show, but back again. So go listen to that. Embrace the Spoilers is coming back very soon. There'll be a Let's Talk About Star Wars this month. A-Move is back, up and running. Many more podcasts in the pipe for you all. Go, enjoy, be merry. It's going to wrap it up for this episode. We'll be back next week, like I said, for 199.5. But until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.
That's the show.